Oh my god, you guys, what even was this game tonight? Real talk. The way I was shouting at the screen non-stop today. This game was difficult. And to be honest, when I saw that lineup, and we all saw the lineup an hour before the game, I'm sure a lot of us felt the same way. But I'm going to address that lineup later on. I need to start off by saying Mason Mount. You know, Lampard's been saying this season he needs to step up with more goals. And I've been saying this too in previous videos. He needs to step up in that area. Now he's got 2 goals in the past 2 games. You're waiting for that bit of quality right at the end to get the goal against Fulham, because my god, the way we waste chance after chance, it's ridiculous. It's wasteful, and it shows this inexperience time and time again that keeps telling me there's still a lot more work that has to be done. But in steps Mason, who really took control in this game. He took responsibility. He had all the best, shots on goal, the best moments. He steps up, gets us to that winner. And for me, I will never understand to the day I die when people complain about Mount playing 90 minutes, when people complain about Mount doing X, Y, Z. Honestly, I'm not even going to address that right now, but it absolutely baffles my mind, man. But anyway, today, it was a mad performance. It really was a mad performance against a Fulham team that, they've been showing recently why they're so difficult to break down. That dogged defensive qualities that Scott Parker has brought into their team. This was a London derby game, a proper one. And you guys in the match review, I'm going to be breaking down some of the things we saw. I'm going to be breaking down some of the misses. Timo Werner right at the end. Wow, I mean, this game, as a Chelsea fan, you're constantly going to have high blood pressure watching us. It's the only way to be a Chelsea fan, in my opinion. But without wasting any more time, the first thing I want to address is the team lineup. Now, I'm going to be using OneFootball to just analyze the lineup that started the game today. And the first thing that I clocked straight away was, obviously, we got Leicester City in 3 days' time, an evening game. Leicester City, you want to see your big summer signings playing. You want to see that tactical elevation. You want to see a really good performance, because this is the type of team we're trying to beat in a certain way to show the levels of improvement. So it made a ton of sense why some of these B team guys had to start in the game today. And I'm sorry if you're using B team players, you're expecting B team performances, and that's what we saw from some of these guys today. Is it any surprise that when the subs came on, things started to really work in our favour, as it tends to happen time and time again? And when I see the state of the entire squad, I know people will say X, Y, Z about, Lampard needs to find a way, but I'm sorry, this isn't FIFA. You can't find a way for anyone and everyone. This is why players get moved on, they get kicked to the curb, they get sold, because to progress and go to the next level, you got to leave some of these men behind. So on screen, I'm sure some of you guys know exactly who some of these guys are, but that was the lineup. Download OneFootball, you'll find it in the link below. And getting back to the review, I think in the first 15 minutes, Fulham kind of showed us, that we had to take this game serious and focused, because they played with confidence. They came with a game plan. They seemed confident with their defensive work. They were tenacious. They were trying to harry us. They created some dangerous opportunities on the counter. And on a real one, on an absolute real one, they should have made it 1-0. Thank God that was Cavallero, who's been missing opportunities like this all season for Fulham. Thank God it was him in that area, because even the manner in which they created that chance, my lord, was that not atrocious defending? Where was the defensive line? How many passes at times were we seeing going straight through our midfield, bypassing the entire team, where Fulham created some dangerous counters? And when it comes to counters, we could see that Fulham were playing down that right-hand side, targeting Azpilicueta, and for very good reason. Now, I need to say this about Aspi. I've got a ton of respect for him. I think we all need to have that. He's been a solid servant at this club for a very, very long time. But from certain performances I've seen this season, especially in this one, it kind of reminded me of Branislav Ivanovic when we started to see his decline at the start of that 15-16 season. The pace, man. The pace. And how many times were Fulham able to create some great opportunities? Just boom, hitting that ball in the wide areas, literally outspinning him, and the fear it brought. Of course, he has to play because Reece James, who is still training, if you're playing against Leicester City, as we've made this mistake a billion times over Lampard's reign, he's rushed players back who end up getting injured, or, he risks players in games where you don't have to use them, and then they get injuries. So I completely So for me, I completely understand and agree with the lineup that was used. And, you know, of course, it's frustrating because you're not going to expect a great performance. But I think today, the only positive quality that shined through was the willingness, the mentality, the hunger to keep that fight against Fulham, to make something happen, to not give up. And, you know, that's the only bare minimum thing you can ask for when the football just ain't on point. But, wow. Still, even though the football is not consistently great at times, we still create so many opportunities that we should still be taking that we don't do. So for me, it's constantly this thing of, you know, where's the balance and line between players taking responsibility in moments and players that don't do that? That's what I want to know. But I think now I want to speak about Callum Hudson-Odoi. Of course, Starboy, man. Starboy comes on. The quality he brings, the football he was playing with. Yeah, just seeing the improvement all rounds. For me, I think it's clear that he starts against Leicester. And if he doesn't start against Leicester, then I'm going to be mad because he's showing everything you want to see right now. I think that was clearly the plan. That's why a lot of the first team guys never play today. Of course, you have to always use Mason regardless of if you say first team players, because this midfield does need him. And I just feel like Leicester City is the game that, for me, I'm going to have a lot of pressure on, and I have to see Callum play because, again, he's proven it. Lampard on the touchline, you could see on TV, was in praise of Hudson-Odoi, you know, for his great defensive work. And this is what I mean by Callum just becoming an even better player, you know? He has to play for me because I think one player that maybe needs some time to rest a bit and find his form again is Christian Pulisic. Now, you know what? I'm keeping the same energy I kept for Callum last season that I'm now going to have for Christian Pulisic. Last season, I remember very clearly, you guys, I do content nearly every single day. I remember the unnecessary criticism Callum was getting because man were projecting all their hate on him for things like Bayern Munich and transfers and all that type of stuff that was not fair with the football. Last season, Callum needed time with his injuries to get back to full things. I'm having the same energy for Christian Pulisic, and that's because we saw what this guy was doing in the second half of last season. Are we seeing the same Christian? Of course not. Can you understand why we're not seeing it? Of course, because it does take time to get back to full speed. But today, the fact he played a full 90 minutes kind of tells me to not expect too much from him in the game versus Leicester City, because for me, it clearly is going to be Callum playing, but I think with Christian now, he just isn't playing to that same level that he was last season. And I think because he isn't, I'm seeing some of the things I was seeing from Christian at the start of his reign, obviously when he signed for us last season. Too much individualism at times, and you know, some of the quality with the final ball, the final decision making. You know, this was massive improvements Christian made in the second half of last season that we aren't seeing right now. Do I feel this reflects the quality of the player? Absolutely not. But as I keep saying, and I keep hearing his excuses all the time, you know, in a difficult season like this, you can't expect every player to come back to full speed as if they don't have their own physical bodies and their own different needs. So for me, I think Christian will get good eventually, but right now, I think Callum is proving why he's got to start ahead of him. But you guys, you know, this game today, the subs really affected things for us and changed the game. 4-4-2 was a tactical sub that was made in the end, and to be honest, it did help us create better quality chances on goal compared to what we saw in the first 60 minutes where there wasn't enough consistent quality to break Fulham down. Now, of course, one of the big reasons for that, you guys, was the stupid challenge that Anthony Robertson made to get himself sent off. Honestly, for me, this was the godsend because I got to keep things real. If we had maintained that same team against 11 men, would we have found the spaces that we eventually found to get the winner in the end? I'm not too sure, to be honest, man. I'm keeping it real. I'm not too sure. And of course, that is forever disappointing. Forever disappointing. But when you're using B team players, and I know these are the favourites of a few people, that's on you. But some of the B team guys that haven't stepped up or don't really bring too much responsibility to the team, it does not surprise me at all, bro. But, you know, just so I can wrap this review up, again, Mount steps up, gets us that goal. Every dangerous moment was coming from him. He took control of the midfield. He was making things happen. And it's clear that he's listening to Lampard. He's challenging himself. And we're starting to see even more improvement in Mason Mount. Of course, though, we get the first goal really late in the game. And naturally, we get other chances on the counter-attack. And Man, I think to end this review, I've got to speak about Timo Werner. The form, wow. Wow, the form, flipping hell. I think we all kind of knew that he wasn't scoring that goal. I mean, of course he should have. It had all the classic moments you'd expect from a player like Werner. The space in front of him, the time to be able to place his finish, and then to not wrap his foot around that ball. I feel the confidence isn't there. I don't know what's happening. He could be another player that maybe might have to take some time out as well. But again, can Lampard afford to do that when he signed him? And there's potential pressures from the board as well. I'm not too sure, but I don't know. I do feel like with more time, I feel like Werner could turn things around compared to what I saw from your Moratas and other guys back in the day. But I mean, maybe I got to reevaluate things because some of the misses, you could argue, fairly argue, that they have been worse than what we actually saw from guys like Morata and Torres. Been some really shocking, terrible misses this season, and every time he misses, as we've seen before as fans, a striker's confidence goes down even more and even more. So, you know, Lampard, we got Giroud, who was kind of middling today. We got Tammy, who came on looking hungry. Maybe we're seeing Tammy in the next game. That's all I'm saying. But you guys, this was an ugly, ugly win. This was an ugly, ugly team. We got the 3 points in the end. That is all that matters. Let's hope we see better things in the game versus Leicester. I'm Nini FC. This is Blue Lions TV. Catch you guys later with some more videos. Fuck's sake.